Hi everybody, this is Marisa Portuondo. I hope everyone's enjoying their evening and their weekend, and I wanted to talk to you about an issue that I notice a lot as an attorney who works with business owners, and that is the issue of being reactive instead of being proactive. I know that as a business owner, overhead and expenses are always a huge consideration for so many business owners. Excuse me, I'm a little hoarse today. And I just wanted to talk about the fact that I see so many business owners skimp on doing things correctly when it comes to working with an attorney, when it comes to setting up their business properly, because they're worried about spending the money. And then they just end up spending so much more money when something goes wrong. And usually that something that goes wrong is something that could have been prevented by being proactive. So for example, you start a new company and you have a partner, and this partner might be, a really good friend or a relative, and you go into business together and you think you don't need an operating agreement because it's expensive and it's time consuming. And inevitably, an argument will ensue at some point in your relationship. It's just inevitable when you're in business with somebody. It's kind of like a marriage, right? I mean, people will disagree at some point. If you have an operating agreement in place, then you've already decided on what's going to happen when these disagreements come up. If it's done properly, you've covered as many bases as you possibly can imagine beforehand. And this eliminates so many fights. It eliminates the ruining of relationships, and it keeps you out of litigation. So right there, that's a huge money saver, not to mention a relationship saver, which is oftentimes much more important than money, especially if you're dealing with lifelong friends, family members, things like that. Other things are people don't like to get contracts reviewed. They'll skim them, or they'll just, have someone who doesn't know anything about business law or construction law review the contract. Even sometimes another attorney who's not versed in that field of law, and because they're a friend or a relative, and they'll enter into this relationship and this deal, and then something will go wrong. And again, just so many options that could have been negotiated at the time prior to signing the contract are now off the table, and the only choice is to spend lots of money in litigation, whether you're the plaintiff or the defendant. So, it's just a trend that I see a lot from business owners, and it's something that really is preventable. I understand that no one wants to spend money, especially when they're first starting out, but I always like to make the analogy of, your business is what puts food on the table, and you probably spend a lot more money on things that aren't, feeding your family and making you successful. For example, we always talk about car insurance. Like, no one thinks twice about dropping a couple $1,000s a year on car insurance, but for about the same amount of money, you could protect your business, and you'd only have to do it once, whereas you pay this amount of money in car insurance every year. So that's just an analogy that comes up a lot, and it's something to think about. So again, as business owners, I encourage you to be as proactive as possible. Being reactive is not only extremely stressful, it's very expensive. All right, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow.